everybody, it's Maria Boynton. Thank you so much for joining me for another edition of Atlanta Up Close. Of course, election season's underway. The race we're taking a look at today is that of Atlanta City Council President, Councilwoman Marci Collier Overstreet. How are you?
Fantastic. Thank you for having me.
But of course, so you're running for Atlanta City Council President. Why now?
Because, first of all, at the beginning of the year, President Doug Shipman decided that he was not going to run for re-election. And at the time, I was actually running for my seat again, District 11. So was approached by several council members and asked me to consider running for president. And I considered it, and here we are.
The job of Atlanta City Council President, what is it exactly?
So the council president really is the person that sets the tone for council. You're the one that people look to for guidance, for a force multiplier for things throughout the entire city. And you're the collaborator, right? You're the one that builds consensus amongst the council members, because Atlanta is built up of so many unique neighborhoods. Of course, everyone has their own idea of the direction the city should be going. So you have a council president that has an overarching vision for the city, and you want to make sure that the people that you choose as chair, the council president does that, chooses chair of our committees, is in line with those visions.
And the person who sits in that post, what type of person does it take to be able to do that job? What do they need to do and to know?
Oh, goodness. So the council president should absolutely be, first of all, experienced and ready to go. Experience matters. You need to have great relationships with your council members. They need to trust you and believe that you care about their communities and their districts. I've been on council for 8 years. My council members trust me, not just because I started running for council president in February or March, but I've been working with them in their communities because I care about them for the past 8 years. That's why they came to me when it was time to decide about a council presidency. I've been a consensus builder, a collaborator, a communicator, and I listen to them about the things that are important to them because they know what's important to their constituents. So that's the way you get to know what Atlanta really wants and what the constituents need in every quadrant of our city. You have to talk to the council members. So it's not up to me to decide what their constituents want or what they can have. It's for the council members to do that. So I collaborate with them to make sure that we're doing no harm to the city as a whole, and the council president would absolutely do that for all 12 districts.
Everyone, we're talking to Councilwoman Marci Collier Overstreet, candidate for Atlanta City Council President. 8 years on City Council. Mm-hmm. Who are you? Who are your people?
Oh, my goodness. My people are literally the entire city. This is where I've raised my family. I grew up in Atlanta myself. So my people look like the entire city. They really do. And I love that about Atlanta because there are so many different types of generational people in the city of Atlanta. And I've had the pleasure to work hand in hand with many of them. I started at E.A. Ware Elementary School, which was on Hunter Street when I was growing up. And now it's MLK.
Right.
That's what it's called now. But I was at E.A. Ware from first grade through fifth grade. I didn't go to kindergarten, but listen, I even forgot that I was at University Plaza for pre-K.
Wow. That's
where I did nursery school. And because the Plaza taught me how to read at 4 years old, mm-hmm. I did not have to go to kindergarten. I skipped kindergarten and went straight to E.A. Ware for first grade. So my people are everyone. They're everyone, literally. I don't have just this person or that person or this group or that group, but it's the city. It's the entire city. I've been invested in Atlanta for my whole life.
8 years on City Council. What are you most proud of in those years that you've accomplished, you'd say?
Oh, my goodness. That's a great question. It really does vary a little bit according to the day. I would like to think that I've elevated the quality of life for District 11 and the city as a whole. And that looks like the legislation that I authored that people are talking most about right this moment, and that's Fresh Food Access Fund. It has allowed us to put in 3 grocery stores in areas that are underserved and food deserts for our city. And it started when I first got on council. Again, it had nothing to do with me running for president. It was me being the council person that I love being. I would travel with Invest Atlanta. I went to anywhere they were having trade shows, ICSC in Las Vegas. I went with Invest Atlanta to shop Campbellton Road because I was determined to make sure we had a grocery store on Campbellton Road. And we were told no and no and no by all of the big boxes. And after that, I said, listen, we're going to have to do something to make sure that we're giving access to fresh food for our city. So what are my options? So I started doing research, and then I decided, guess what? This is during our finance committee. They came in to give us an audit on our municipal market. And I said, that's it. We're going to have a municipal south. It's going to be on Campbellton Road. So I'm getting ready to start now with Invest Atlanta and the mayor to get a municipal south. And when I realized that that would mean that we would buy the land and do all of these things, the same thing we did for our curb market, that's what we call it now, we would have to do that. The mayor and Invest Atlanta said, well, listen, since the big boxes are saying no, let's see if we can partner with some of the medium boxes around. And that is where we landed. So Atlanta has municipal buy-in in grocery stores now, and that is something that is actually a national trend. I've been getting calls from everywhere. New York, San Fran, different places want to know, how did Atlanta do this? And it's because of my legislation.
Yeah, how do you do it? I had your opponent on, Rohit Malhotra, and I asked him the same question. How does one get an idea or a need or a want that you see? How do you get it done and get everyone else to buy in on your ideas?
So, Maria, I will tell you that that is my superpower. That is what I've been able to do while on council, is work with not just my council members, because I work with them too. I give them a little of what they want so that when it's time for me to have these big ideas, I mean like big, bold ideas, they listen and they're at the table and know that that's the best thing for the city. So it's collaboration. It's a persuasive nature that's necessary in order for us all to have buy-in on what's best for the whole city and not just the district that you live in. And it's having great relationships with the mayor, the real decision maker about our funds in Invest Atlanta. Like the Invest Atlanta reports directly to him. So I can't go to Invest Atlanta and say, you must give me $7 million so I can start some grocery stores. I really have to collaborate. So it really is something that is absolutely necessary for a council person and the president, is to have a vision and understand the importance of bringing your vision to those around you. Also, very important is one of the main things that I did that I love too is bringing a dog park to South Atlanta. We didn't have a dog park south of 20, right? And this is one of those things that many people don't think are a big deal at all, but I was able to do that. And that's a part of that vision that you just asked me about. And how do you get things done? I went to Parks and Recs and I said, listen, why don't we have a dog park? I'm literally sitting in the car watching dogs over on a different side of town enjoy the day, right? And I'm like, these dogs do not know each other. Like that actually is going through my mind. So I'm always thinking about how to make our city better everywhere, right?
Dog play dates.
Dog play dates. And I'm like, we don't have anywhere for our dogs to go just to have play dates. You know, why aren't we socializing our dogs south of 20? That literally was the reason why I could not wait to get back to the office to start having conversations about bringing a dog park to my district. And that happened. Parks and Rec said, what kind of dog park do you want? I said, I want to choose like 3 for us to go and look at, and we're going to decide from there. And that is what we did. I did field trips. And so it's about staying at the table for the things that you know are missing in your district, that you know you can get done. And those are the things that I've done in the district. I've also been able to bring major installations for for safety on my side of town. And that looks like 2 fire stations built from the ground up in just my district. Fire Station 36 is Princeton Lakes, I named it, and Fire Station 37 is also our EMS. It's the first EMS fire station in the city of Atlanta. That actually houses an ambulance. That's a big old deal because that was our first one for the city, and it allows for first responders to respond quicker. And so those are the things that matter, and I get those done. Like, it's started, see it through, and finish it, and move on to the next thing. I've been able to do that.
She is Councilwoman Marci Collier, Overstreet, everyone. A scenario for you here. Let's say, for instance, you and the mayor. Mm-hmm. You have a disagreement on something. He does something or says something that you don't like. How does Atlanta City Council President Marci Collier Overstreet approach that? Do you do it publicly? Do you do it behind closed doors? How would you work that out with the mayor?
So I'll start behind closed doors, right? Mm-hmm. And everyone that has ever watched me for the last 8 years, they know that I will finish it wherever it's necessary. Okay? Mm-hmm. So, but we have a mayor right now that literally does draw circles. He tries to figure out the direction that you would like to go in also. If it's not actually his direction, he will figure out a place for us to meet in the middle. And he has done that several times. But I don't have a bone in my body that is not an independent thinker. So people don't get to sway me just because it's their idea. It has to make sense. It has to be something that I am interested in doing, and it most definitely has to do no harm to our city. So that's top of mind. It's never about the mayor or me. It should never be about us. It needs to be about what's best for our city. And that is the way I've governed for the past 8 years. I make sure that we're doing the best that we can with what we have for everyone, doing no harm to our communities. So, yeah, I will have conversations behind the scenes as much as I can, but when the rubber meets the road, if I have to have those conversations in the open, I do, and I have, and I will.
Your opponent believes that it's public service rather than political service that people really care about.
Yeah, so it is. All of that is true. It should never be about me.
Okay, but your opponent, let me preface that with this. He was asked, what have you been doing? And he said that he believes that it's public service more so than political service that the public wants from the person that's going to serve them as Atlanta City Council President. What do you believe?
I believe it is public service.
Okay.
And that is why in the past 8 years, I've been doing the work. Didn't know I was running for president. I'm going to repeat that again. I've been doing the work thinking that I'm just happy to be a District 11 council person making a difference in our whole city. I've held chairmanships throughout the time that I've been on council. I was zoning chair. That's a citywide, very serious commitment chair position. And I did a really good job of that. It's the way you shape your city is through zoning. I sit on powerhouse committees. I've been the transportation vice chair for all 8 years. I was our Mayor Dickens, I was his vice chair for 4 whole years. And I've been the vice chair for 4 years that he's been our mayor on transportation. That's the world's busiest, most efficient airport. That's ATL DOT, holding them accountable. I am the one that actually was tapped to write that audit paper, to sponsor the audit paper for the More MARTA dollars because of my vocal and in your on the spot type of leadership. That's just what I've been doing for the past 8 years. So it's never been about politics for me. It has always, always been about the people. And as president, I have ideas on more things that I like to do directly for the people. I want to start holding town halls. I want to make sure that I'm doing quadrant town halls with the council members that are over those districts and the at-large council person too. I want the president to host those at least 4 a year, or 3 a year, every 4 months. And I just think we need to start getting back to seeing the people where they are. I hold an awful lot of community meetings in my district, and I bring the city to my district as often as I can, because I think it's important that the community members can speak directly to those that are responsible for things. Council members are legislators. So the ATL DOT commissioner, well, he doesn't work for me. He works for the mayor. So I bring him to the community every time I have to. All of the commissioners come to the district, and I would do that as council president across the entire city.
Okay, Marci Collier, Overstreet, Councilwoman Overstreet, why don't you look into the camera and tell everyone why you should be their choice?
Oh, nice. Okay, so I am Councilmember Marci Collier, Overstreet. Atlanta deserves a president for the Atlanta City Council that is both proven and principled. It is extremely important that we get this right. I would like for you to vote for me because experience matters. I've raised my children here. I've put all that I have into making sure that Atlanta is absolutely the best place to raise a family. And I will do the same as council president. I will make sure that we are continuing to do our affordable housing, which I've done in my district. We're continuing to hold all of our transportation projects accountable and deliverable, and we continue to make the city of Atlanta the best place to raise a family, elevating the quality of life in every single corner of our city. So please vote Marci Overstreet for Atlanta Council President. Experience matters, Atlanta, and I'm ready to be your council president.
Councilwoman, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
And everyone, thank you so much for joining us for another edition of Atlanta Up Close. And of course, as always, you can listen to and watch on the Odyssey app. I'm Maria Boynton.